Ever stayed up until 3 a.m. replaying a conversation you had at lunch? Like literally dissecting every syllable, every awkward hand gesture, every what if until your brain feels like a browser with 50 tabs open and half of them are frozen? It's exhausting, right? And the more you dig, the messier it gets, until a simple hello feels like a Da Vinci Code mystery you're failing to solve. Look, I've got to tell you something that's going to flip the script on how you see this. Because what I've learned about overthinking, it's not just some quirky personality trait or being a perfectionist. It's literally the difference between actually living your life and just drowning in a kiddie pool of doubt you filled up yourself. True story, when I was 23, I made the absolute worst decision of my life. Not because the choice itself was bad, but because I spent 4 months making it. 4 months of pros and cons lists, calling every friend I had, losing sleep, missing deadlines. And you know what happened? By the time I finally said yes, the boat had sailed. The opportunity was gone. But the kicker? Deep down, I knew the answer on day one. All that analyzing didn't give me clarity. It just buried it under a mountain of junk. And here's the aha moment that'll probably blow your mind. Overthinking isn't a sign of intelligence. It's not being careful. It's just fear wearing a suit and calling itself prudence. Your brain isn't trying to help you make a better choice when you're spiraling. It's trying to protect you from something way scarier than failing. It's protecting you from acting. I'll show you how to fix this in a second. But first, you've got to see the check engine light going off inside your head. There's this fascinating study from the University of Michigan about chronic overthinkers. They found that when you overanalyze social stuff or big decisions, your brain activity doesn't actually spike in the problem-solving zone. Nope. It spikes in the anxiety and self-criticism zone. So while you think you're being Sherlock Holmes, neurologically speaking, you're just poking a bruise and wondering why it still hurts. Ever feel like the more you think, the dumber you get? Yeah, that's real. It's called analysis paralysis. Our working memory is like a tiny desk. It can only hold like 7 things at once. When you overthink, you aren't deepening your understanding. You're just piling more crap on the desk until the whole thing collapses. You're not refining the deck. You're just shuffling the same cards until the ink wears off. Now here's where it gets spicy. There's a huge difference between thinking and overthinking. Thinking has movement. One idea leads to another. You get an aha moment and you move forward. Overthinking is that scratched up vinyl record that keeps skipping on the same 3 seconds of a song. You're asking the same questions and getting the same nothing. Take my friend Sarah, brilliant designer. Like, how does she do that? Talented. But Sarah would take 3 times longer than anyone else to finish a project. Why? Because she was stuck in the tweak loop. Change a color, change it back. Move a logo 3 pixels left, then 3 pixels right. She'd ask everyone's opinion until she was totally paralyzed. Finally, her therapist asked her, "Sarah, are you looking for perfection, or are you just terrified of being judged?" Ouch. Total silence. Because overthinking wasn't about making the work better. It was about stalling so she didn't have to put herself out there. That's truth bomb number 1. Most of the time, overthinking isn't about finding the right answer. It's about finding the safe answer. If you stay in the thinking phase, you don't have to act. And if you don't act, you can't fail. Makes sense to your lizard brain, right? But here's the catch. Life doesn't hit pause while you're in your head. The world keeps spinning, opportunities expire, and you're basically sitting in a movie theater, watching a film about someone trying to decide whether to leave the theater. It's absurd. So how do we break out? First, you got to identify your flavor of overthinking. Type 1, the prevention spiral. What if I quit and go broke? What if I end the relationship and die alone with 40 cats? This is just fear of future regret. Ironically, by trying to avoid the regret of doing something, you're guaranteeing the regret of doing nothing. Type 2, the validation hunt. This is when you need 15 people to tell you your outfit is okay before you can leave the house. You've lost touch with your own gut, and the more you ask, "What do you think?" the more you kill your own self-trust. The cure becomes the poison. Type 3, the perfectionist trap. It's not ready yet, just one more tweak. This isn't about quality. It's about a deep-seated belief that you aren't enough as you are, so the work has to be flawless to compensate. But perfection is a ghost. You're never going to catch it. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, I get it. I'm a mess. How do I stop? Well, you don't stop thinking. That's impossible. You just have to steer the car. I use this 3-question test that honestly changed my life. Is this thought moving me forward, or am I just doing laps? If you're not reaching new conclusions, shut it down. Am I trying to solve a problem, or am I trying to avoid a feeling? Usually it's the feeling. If I had to decide in the next 5 minutes, would I know what to do? Spoiler alert. You almost always know the answer. You just don't like it because it requires courage or a difficult conversation. I knew a guy, let's call him Pete. Pete stayed in a dead-end relationship for 2 years. 2 years. He knew it was over. His dog knew it was over. But he stayed in the loop. But we have history. What if I'm wrong? Finally, he asked himself, if I had to choose in 5 minutes, what would I do? He knew instantly. He said the hardest part wasn't the breakup. It was the decision to stop thinking about the breakup. Your brain has this thing called the default mode network. It's like autopilot. When you aren't focused on a task, your brain naturally goes to, why did I say that in 2012? And is everyone mad at me? This was great for not getting eaten by tigers in a cave, but today, it just gives us ulcers. The trick, give your brain something real to chew on. Not doom scrolling Instagram, but actually doing something. Paint, fix a sink, have a real conversation. When your brain is actually engaged, it doesn't have the bandwidth to torture you. And here's the big one. Your thoughts are not facts. They're just brain farts, mental weather. You don't have to RSVP to every thought invitation that pops into your head. I learned this label and release thing. When a spiral starts, just say, oh, look, there's my validation pattern again. Don't judge it, don't fight it. Just name it, then go back to what you're doing. It sounds too simple, but it's like a muscle. You're training your brain to stop gripping every passing thought like it's a life raft. Now, fair warning, when you start doing this, you're going to realize just how much time you waste in your head. It's kind of scary. You'll want to fix it all at once. Don't. Overthinking is a habit. Maybe you learned it as a kid to stay safe in a chaotic house or to avoid criticism. Your brain thinks it's helping, so don't fight the habit. Just build a new one. You don't need to be 100% clear-headed. If you go from 4 hours of spiraling to 1 hour, you just won 3 hours of your life back. That's a massive win. Try decision windows. Give yourself 15 minutes at 10 a.m. and 15 minutes at 6 p.m. to worry. Think all you want. Analyze everything. But when? The timer goes off. Nope, I'll worry about that at 6. Your brain accepts this way better than a total ban. At the end of the day, overthinking isn't a math problem. It's an emotional one. You aren't stuck because the situation is complex. You're stuck because you're avoiding a feeling, fear, guilt, shame, whatever. But here's the secret. Feeling a crappy emotion for 10 minutes is way less painful than thinking about it for 10 hours. Emotions are like waves. They peak and they pass. Unless you try to solve them, then they just swirl forever. Next time you're stuck, ask, what's under all this noise? Usually it's just, I'm scared of failing. Once you name the monster, it gets smaller. Look, you're still going to overthink sometimes. You're human. It's what we do. But now you have the map. The goal isn't to be a Zen monk. It's just to spend more time in your life and less time about your life. You already have the clarity you're looking for. It's right there under the noise. Every time you choose to stop the spiral, you're clearing the fog. So, do me a favor. When this video ends, take a deep breath and then go do that one thing you've been putting off. Don't think about it. Just do it. Your brain will thank you later.